Hello guys, welcome. Today I will tell you about the story of my dad. He passed away this year in April. Um, so in this video, I'm just gonna tell a little bit about the illness that he has. So he was. Let me take a look at my notes here. Um, so he was actually diagnosed with uh, cholangiocarcinoma, which is like a bile duct cancer. So this was back in September 2020. So a little bit before that, he actually used to work at the restaurant as a manager, and he would often have to lie down on the on the sofa because I guess he was having some pain from around like this area or something like that. Um, but yeah, I think that was one of the early signs that something was not right, and so he actually retired shortly after that, I guess, um, because the lease of the restaurant was expiring, and so my dad decided to retire. He was in his late 50s, I believe. Um, okay, let me see here. And so, after retiring, um, he stayed at home for a little while. I'm guessing it's for, I wasn't sure how long it was, or believe there was a time after retiring he just stayed at home, and then shortly after, I guess he went to the doctors and presented with back pain and jaundice in September 2020. So he was originally put on chemotherapy. Do, 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 do. And I think that didn't really work out too well. But then my dad, I guess, had a doctor that recommended him immunotherapy. So that actually worked out really well for him. Uh, so at that time, uh, I believe he had stage 3 bile duct cancer, and I mean when I found out about that my dad had cancer, I remember the moment very clearly for some reason. So I was actually at Walmart shopping for a scale, and then that's when I found out that my dad had cancer. I wasn't sure how I got the news, but I don't know. It's weird. It's very specific. I remember it very specifically when I found out that my dad had cancer, and so that at that time I was still in college, and I remember, you know, going to my was what class was it? It was like going to my electrical engineering class. Um, Very sad because I thought this was probably the end for my dad, because when I looked up the survival rates for stage 3 bile duct cancer, it was very low. It was like, I believe it was like 10-20% for a 5-year survival rate. But yeah, at first the chemotherapy didn't work too well, but later on, the doctors recommended immunotherapy for him, and so that actually did work pretty well for a period of time. Um, okay. So, wow, I'm just trying to, because so many things has happened. Okay. Do, 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 do. Okay. So, uh, okay, so let me just read the notes because, okay. Um, 60-year-old man with 3B intrahepatic cholangiocarcinoma diagnosed after presenting with back pain and jaundice in September 2020. He progressed on chemotherapy and was started on IO checkpoint inhibitor with near complete response. He had persisting but stable disease and transferred his care to our center in June 2022 and was continued on his current regimen as recommended by a multidisciplinary tumor board review. Restaging CT in July 2022 showed mild increase in lesions and LN, but not convincingly progressed. Worsening jaundice in August 2022 with stable CT scan. ERCP showed partial biliary obstruction and patient had new middle stent placed in August 24th, 2022. Minimal symptoms and very functional. He was evaluated in mid-2022 based on persisting disease and left lobe of the liver as well as continued obstructive symptoms. He underwent palliative resection on November 17, 2022. He underwent left hepatectomy, hepaticojejunostomy, cholecystectomy, and lymph node dissection and partial gastrectomy. That was a mouthful. So basically what that means is he actually had surgery to remove, I guess, the tumor from around his bile duct. So yeah, let me tell you about what happened, before that. Actually before that, I was in college, so my mom was the main caretaker for my dad, and yeah, he was supposed to have surgery for his tumor very early on, but for some reason, I guess the surgeons couldn't do the surgery because I guess it was because of the jaundice and there was like some risk of something. I don't know. I'm not too sure on the details, but he was supposed to have surgery, but for some reason the surgeons couldn't do it because of some risk. I'm guessing it's from the jaundice, but yeah, before my dad went on immunotherapy, he was actually, I guess he was not doing too good. I I believe, and yeah, my mom was the main caretaker, and she told me how some of the, I guess, challenges that that she had taken care of dad. But yeah, so after that, I do remember there was a time where actually this was before. I think this was before when he had the surgery in November 2022. Oh, okay. So yeah, basically, there's another time when I remember. It's a story that's I don't know. It's just kind of stuck with me, but yeah. So there was a time where I had to drive my dad to the hospital to get his, I guess, um, to place a stent in his bile duct because his jaundice was getting pretty bad, I think. And then I drove him to the hospital to get the procedure done, and he was actually not supposed to drink any liquids before the surgery, but I think he drank drink some water anyways. But yeah, the nurse asked him, I believe, if he drank anything, and I was like, I was about to tell the nurse he did drink a little bit of water, but my dad was very adamant that he didn't drink anything because he didn't want the procedure to get canceled. So actually, my dad and me had a little bit of argument, I guess. And the nurse was just, I'm not sure. The nurse was a little bit. The nurse kind of believed me, and I think. But anyway, the procedure actually still went as planned, and my dad didn't have any issues with the procedure. But at the end, the nurse um, said something along the lines to me after the surgery was complete and I was about to take my dad home. She was like, "You have to take good care of your dad," and yeah, she also told me about how she's a traveling nurse, and yeah, we had a good conversation with the nurse. So that story kind of stuck with me because she said to, uh, take good care of your dad, which I think definitely, I think is something that I will cherish because it's a good uh, it's good taking care of your dad. But all right, uh, let's see what's next. Yeah, so many things happened. I'm not sure. I might even have to go back to the chat history of what kind of happened. I feel very grateful to have a dad. And sorry, I'm starting a new recording. Um, but yeah, anyways, um, um, where was I? Where did I leave off again? I believe. Okay, so he did have the surgery in at around the on November 17th, 2022. He had the surgery, and I remember this time during the surgery, the surgeon had actually called my sister, and he was like, the cancer had actually like spread. Do you want to continue with the surgery? And at that time, my family was very devastated. Um, and my sister said, continue the surgery. It's probably what my dad wanted as well. Just go through with the surgery, and so yeah, the surgery went on, and the surgery was completed. It took a very long time, a very long time. Not just like a few hours, a lot of hours. I believe it was yeah, it was like more than 10 hours, I think. But yeah, the surgery was actually pretty successful. The doctor removed, I believe, all of the cancerous, I guess, tissues. In medical terms, it was called a R0 resection, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Let me just take a look here. R0 resection. So it was an all R0 resection. So our family was very happy to hear the news, and yeah, my dad actually recovered really well from the surgery. Um, his tumor markers dropped down, his jaundice went away, and he was doing really good. He was really stable after the surgery, and yeah, he actually also went to China in 2023. We The full family went with China. Me, my dad, my sister, and my mom went to China as a family, and so that we had a great time. And yeah, he was very stable. So let me read the notes here. So he had an extended response on Keytruda until May 2024 when he had PET evidence of progression. So after that, he kind of switched into a different immunotherapy. It was a more, I guess, more intense treatment. He had more side effects. He I guess he got a little bit skinnier as well, I feel, and he always would be, you know, get tired walking around, and yeah, you could definitely see that he had symptoms of, I guess, fatigue. He couldn't walk for too long, and so in mid-November 2024, um, it said that he had clearly progressed with the treatment and was elected to proceed with uh, an alternative chemotherapy treatment. Um, and so during the time we heard that news, it was when I was on vacation in Japan with my sister. And my sister, I guess she received the call from somebody, I guess from my dad. Um, and yeah, yeah, we heard the news that my dad's current treatment plan wasn't going too well, that he would be switching to a new treatment plan. Um, and yeah, that's really when his condition started to get very, very bad. And I will talk more about it on the uh, next part. I'll make this video into three parts. This part will be just explaining the illness that he had. The second part will be when his condition really declined in 2024, and then a final part after that. So thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye.